reaction to this violence, which is not just in Minneapolis, it's spread to various cities across the country. We saw it in Los Angeles last 2 nights ago, and then there was some unrest in New York and Phoenix. Your reaction?
Yeah, Brian, first of all, it was just disturbing watching the video of what happened to George Floyd. We all mourn his loss, and justice needs to be served there. But just going out and destroying cities is not an answer to that. Let's push for justice to be served. And you see local officials recognizing that this has to be addressed, what happened to George Floyd. And let's not tarnish his memory with that kind of reaction.
So the president tweets out his unhappiness with how this is being handled by the mayor. Says, I'm going to call in the National Guard. Twitter doesn't like what he said. So they put some disclaimers on there. This hours after he put together an executive order that would rein them in and make them accountable, almost like a publisher instead of a host. What's your reaction to them seem to be targeting the president?
Well, it's concerning that Twitter seems to be picking sides now politically. And it seems like they're carrying out a vendetta against the president. That's not supposed to be their role. They present themselves as a public square. This isn't, just a private company. This is a company that says they are a private square, and yet they're only censoring selectively, it seems like, the thoughts of conservatives and high-profile conservatives, including the president. Twitter really needs to reevaluate what they're trying to do, because they're going to literally force the creation of an alternative that's not going to be censoring and selectively censoring at worst.
I find this somewhat intriguing because I know Democrats have complained too more about Facebook and Twitter about the way it's handled, because the administration, obviously the campaign was much better at it. So I'm curious to see if they're going to get on board with anything. But meanwhile, let's pivot. Yesterday, Speaker Pelosi decides to cancel a planned vote on FISA because the president made it clear he was going to veto it. Are you against FISA, or you just want to reform it to the 17 violations pointed out by Michael Horowitz?
Well, clearly, FISA needs to be reformed because it's well known how it was abused, and it was abused by people within the Justice Department, the FBI, to try to take down a candidate for President of the United States and Donald Trump. And so there has to be accountability. But look, FISA has been used successfully in the past to track terrorists abroad. It's why the law was created. But it was a very narrow scope, and the way it was used was supposed to be in a way that only applied to terrorists or Americans who were abroad fighting with terrorists, not to spy on a candidate for president or people that were working around him. And so the FISA court has to fix their problems internally. The bill was trying to do something that didn't go far enough, clearly, but at the same time, they needed to be done. The fact that there still has been no accountability, Brian. There has to be accountability for those people that abused the FISA court, that did other things illegally within the FBI. Some of those people need to go to jail. And I think once that happens, you'll see an ability to come back together and get this program back on track in a right way with proper guardrails and reforms. But it wasn't ready for prime time. I'm glad they pulled it. We had the votes to kill it, and we worked hard to make sure that the bill would have died if it came to the floor.
Congressman, only 30 seconds left, but real quick. A lot of people say going after the origins of the Russia probe, the Mueller probe, is a distraction at this time when we have a pandemic. What do you say to those critics who say we don't need this distraction now?
Well, it might be a distraction to the people who are about to get caught with their hand in the cookie jar. I mean, these are people who literally used the FBI. They were FBI agents, not by and large all of them, but FBI agents who used their position to try to take down a candidate for president of the United States. We all want to be concerned about it. There needs to be accountability, and those people need to go to jail who abused their power and broke the law.
It looks like they're going to be lining up a whole bunch of familiar names from Brennan to Comey to Yates as well as next week. But on the Senate side with Senator Ron Johnson, so we'll see what happens. Majority Whip, Minority Whip, Chief Police, thanks so much.
Brian, great to be with you. Thanks.
Chief James Craig says the death of George Floyd was murder.
At a press conference this afternoon, the chief shared what he feels needs to be done with the Minneapolis officer who put his knee on Floyd's neck. Larry Poole talked to Chief Craig, and Larry, he didn't seem to hold back.
Not at all, Kimberly. Chief Craig said what he said, and he did not apologize for it. He tells me that he believes what happened in Minneapolis is murder, and there's really no other way around it.
there was clear evidence to suggest there was probable cause to arrest this officer.
There are new developments in the death of George Floyd.
And as we keep looking at those, two separate autopsies have come to the same conclusion now, that George Floyd's death can be classified as a homicide. But as Michael Serapio joins me, the autopsies differ in ways, Michael, that could make a big difference as pressure mounts for more charges to be laid against the other three police officers.
Absolutely, Heather. And again, these are two separate autopsies, one from the official medical coroner, the other one a private coroner's team hired by the family, the Floyd family themselves. And it all goes to that horrific image that has been circulating for days now. And forgive us, we're going to show it once again. It is a graphic image, but also important here because it was this action, then Officer Chauvin placing his knee on Floyd's neck for over 8, nearly 9 minutes, that the family's coroner report says caused asphyxiation and brought about death. The compression on the neck, which can interfere with oxygen to the brain, the compression to the back, which interferes with breathing. And that is leading lawyers for the family to conclude this was a clear case of homicide. Take a listen.
Yes, our findings do differ. Some of the information I read from that complaint state that there was no evidence of traumatic asphyxia. This is the point in which we do disagree, that there is evidence in this case of mechanical or traumatic asphyxia.
Now, forgive us, that is actually the one of the coroners that was hired by the family, but she does go to the difference between their report and the report that was released by Hennepin County, which covers the city of Minneapolis. They don't dispute the homicide, the official coroner, but they are not so clear on asphyxia. In fact, their preliminary report says George Floyd had underlying heart conditions. Reportedly, it also noted fentanyl and methamphetamine were among, quote, significant conditions, although no specifics on that. And that leads the initial report, and again, just the initial report from the medical examiner, to conclude that the officer's restraint, quote, likely contributed to his death. And as we said, that is a point of contradiction regarding the details. But again, that could have some implications for the criminal case going forward. But the overall conclusion is still the same, that this is a case of homicide. And at the end of the day, George Floyd lost his life, Heather.
It's a Monday evening in Minneapolis. Police respond to a call about a man who allegedly used a counterfeit $20 bill to buy cigarettes. 17 minutes later, the man they are there to investigate lies motionless on the ground and is pronounced dead shortly after. The man was 46-year-old George Floyd, a bouncer originally from Houston who'd lost his job at a restaurant when the coronavirus pandemic hit. Floyd's death triggered major protests in Minneapolis and sparked rage across the country. 4 officers have been fired and put under investigation. One of them, Derek Chauvin, has been arrested and charged with murder and manslaughter. As the officers approach their car, we can see Floyd fall to the ground. According to the criminal complaint filed against Chauvin, the officer who's later arrested, Floyd says he is claustrophobic and refuses to enter the police car. During the struggle, Floyd appears to turn his head to address the officers multiple times. According to the complaint, he tells them he can't breathe. 9 minutes into the arrest, the third and final police car arrives on the scene. It's carrying officers Tu Tao and Derek Chauvin. Both have previous records of complaints brought against them. Tao was once sued for throwing a man to the ground and hitting him. Chauvin has been involved in 3 police shootings, one of them fatal. Chauvin becomes involved in the struggle to get Floyd into the car. Security camera footage from Cup Foods shows Koenig struggling with Floyd in the back seat while Tao watches. Chauvin pulls him through the back seat and onto the street. We don't know why. Floyd is now lying on the pavement, face down. That's when 2 witnesses begin filming, almost simultaneously. The footage from the first witness shows us that all 4 officers are now gathered around Floyd. It's the first moment when we can clearly see that Floyd is face down on the ground, with 3 officers applying pressure to his neck, torso, and legs. At 8:20 p.m., we hear Floyd's voice for the first time.